is the first ever Kaiju Battle video, as well as Kaiju Battle video review. I will be reviewing the Diamond Select Toys Gallery Diorama Godzilla 1991 figure. So, with that, I'm going to get into the review, but first, I want to just kind of thank a number of people on social media and stuff that have helped me out and stuff. First, John Stanowski, who's helped with the Kaiju Battle logo for the site, the new one, as well as the shirts, as well as also helping out with the X Plus databases, give me some information on that, so I want to thank him. I also want to thank the folks from Collect All Monsters, Kyle, John, Christina, Leslie, and Dave. So I want to thank the 5 of them. They've been sharing my posts, liking my posts, things like that, so that's been really cool. I also want to thank the guys from Kaiju Live, AJ and Frank. They've been very supportive, talking about me on the show, liking my stuff, posting it on their pages. So I want to thank them, but also I want to thank all of you guys, because without you, I wouldn't be doing any of this. You know, you guys like the stuff I'm posting on the site, you like, all the figures, you referencing the databases, things like that, which is really cool, and I really like it, because really what I'm doing that all for is you guys. So without you guys, I wouldn't be doing any of this. So with all that said, I'm going to get into the review of this figure. Now, first I'm going to go over the box. Now, the box, pretty big figure, big box. So with that said, the box actually is not, drastically, anything drastic, but it's kind of cool. It has 4 windows, front both sides and top, so you can see the figure in the box, so you can get a good look at it beforehand, which is nice. Around the back, they give you an image of the figure, as well as an image of Ghidorah, which is going to be coming out probably in about a month. So it gives you an idea of, what that's going to look like. The only thing I would say, I wish they would have put them next to each other so you kind of can see how they fit together, but neither here nor there on that, because at least you get a picture of both of them. But the main thing is going to be the figure. So, with that said, we're getting into the figure. Now, I was a little concerned originally with this because I have the diamond banks that they came out with a while back, and they had both full figure and bust banks, and I was really afraid this was going to be simply a bust bank with a base. It's not. It's definitely not. It's definitely a completely different figure, and a really nice figure. It has a substantial amount of weight, which, I wasn't really expecting. I thought it would be a hollow figure like the banks were, or like a vinyl like, say, X Plus or something would have. This is solid. He's a solid figure. He's, got a substantial amount of weight. Really cool. The water, though, on the other hand, which is kind of a little weird, is hollow. You see there's a hole in the middle that, so there's air on the side of it. But I think Diamond did that to give the water a better effect. Because if they just did clear blue vinyl and it was solid, like the figure, light wouldn't pass through it as easy. So with the light passing through it, when you look at it, like the lower edges look more blue. The upper ones look a little more clear. So it gives it that effect where the water's splashing up in the air. So that's kind of cool they did that. I only wish they would have put white caps, maybe painted on some of these, to give it that a little more detail in the water part. But it looks really cool. It has a boat stuck in the water like it's supposed to be riding up the wave. You also have a dock on the bottom that they have on there. If anything, I wish those 2 items had a little more paint detail. They look good in each of them, but I wish they had a little more paint detail on them. Also, the dock is like pretty straightforward, so you think the water would have been riding over it or something. So that's kind of a little weird how they did it. But nonetheless, it's nice that they have a little extra detail, not just water splashing around. Now, as far as the figure itself, he looks really good. He's definitely better than the banks were. That's for sure. So, He's got a lot, a lot of detail, a lot of, good detail. Um, Paint apps are pretty good. He has some black in him, some grays, which, I mean, Godzilla doesn't really have a lot of detail to begin with, but, you know, they have subtle, differences in coloring on him, to give him a little thing, a little more detail. Also, he has some spots are a little more shiny than others, given the fact that he's wet still from coming out of the water, which was a nice little touch they did. If I have to pick anything really with him as far as his body part, is his spines. There's no lighter colors on the edges, which usually his spines always have a little bit lighter coloring on the edge. So that I don't know why they didn't give it a little more coloring on the edges. It's just I wish they did that, but not a big deal because it's kind of more to the back of him, so it's not something you'll really notice. Now, one of the things I was really impressed with is actually his head, particularly his eyes and his mouth. One of the things that I noticed with the bust banks and stuff was that the eyes were okay, but the mouths were pretty straightforward. They were just white teeth, painted, and the tongues were like pink. With this, they actually went a lot better on his mouth and tongue and everything because they actually, I mean, I'll be honest, his mouth is basically right there with the Godzilla 2014 from X Plus. I mean, looking at that Godzilla's mouth and his mouth, the detail is there. The teeth are painted really well. They're not white. They're that off-white color, the way they're supposed to be. They're, they're more sharp and pointy rather than just, generically like dull pointiness to them. These are like almost sharp, pointy. His tongue is like not a pink; it's more of the off pink coloring. The same, like it's basically the same coloring, pretty much as Godzilla 2014 from X Plus. And I was really impressed that they did a really great job on that part of him. His eyes also look really good. He has that basically that very menacing look to him. Some of the figures recently with different brands and stuff, some fans were like not really crazy. They kind of had a little bit of a derpy look to him. Unfortunately, this guy's looks spot on that part of him. He definitely has that menacing look. The mouth's really awesome. His claws are painted very subtly on his hands. So they did actually a pretty darn good job with this, I have to say. Between the weight of it and then some of the details that they did, they really did good. Is it perfect? No, definitely not. I mean, but you're spending say $60 in this guy versus say 30 on the bust banks or something versus 100 plus on Next Plus figure. Considering the cost in there, he's actually pretty darn good for that price. So I was like really impressed with that. If there's anything with this figure that bothers me a little bit, like I said, with the back spines not having maybe a little coloring on the ends of them, that's one thing. Another thing I noticed with the spines is some of them are solid, some of them are very loose. Like if the top spine here is like you can bend it without problem. I thought it was a little weird because like the second spine is nice and solid on there. Not that it's going to break off or anything, but it's just weird that that's very rubbery and then the next one's pretty solid. The other thing was, as I mentioned before, about the bottom. Because the bottom is hollow, there is actually a lot of warping on this bottom part, which I was very surprised. I thought they might, because of that, they might stick something on here, like some kind of like hard plastic base or something, maybe just so he doesn't, won't have a tendency to want to rock. I mean, he really doesn't rock because he's pretty heavy, so there's a little bit, if you like, obviously you go like this, you can kind of get a little rock out of him, but not tremendously. But it's basically because of the bottom here. Like there's an indentation here, and then over here it's actually kind of sticking out a little. So, you kind of can push it in. It may settle over time when he's standing up on something. It may all even out or whatever in time. But that's something I was like kind of surprised that they didn't make sure it was even so he would stand solidly. Other than that, other than those little things, I mean, this is a great figure. Nice detail, nice, setup, the way with the water, everything really looks good. I was very surprised. And going into this, being that, like I said, with thinking it was maybe going to be glorified bank, no, it's definitely not. Definitely a lot better. Is it perfect? No, but for the price, definitely something I would get again if I had, if I had that choice again, I would definitely get it. Now I'm a little, more with the value of things. So, am I gonna get $100 something X Plus figure versus something like this? I'll probably get this. Not that I don't like the X Pluses. I mean, and stuff like that, but I would probably more get something like this because it's a little more has a little more value in it. I guess you can say. Now, there is obviously the size of this thing. It has a good footprint, both forward and backwards. It's pretty, almost a little bit less than square, but it's almost a square footprint to it. So it's going to take up a decent amount of shelf space. With Ghidorah going next to it, that's going to substantially increase this. You're going to have probably good 12 inches for each to make sure you have a little bit of clearance around them on your shelf. So that's like 24. That's 2 feet worth of space you have to dedicate to these. Can you put, maneuver stuff around them? Maybe. They're not quite as deep as they are wide. So, if you have a Godzilla figure with the tail, you might probably go behind this. It's not going to, necessarily lose that part of it, but they're going to have a decent footprint. Now, Diamond's also coming out with 2 others later on, Godzilla 93 and Rodan 93. Now, they're both from the poster for the film. And that's that famous poster where Mechagodzilla is the version they never used in the movie. He's kind of the combination of the original Mechagodzilla and the modern version, and supposed to be multiple parts and all that kind of stuff. They haven't shown anything with him, which I'm kind of curious if they're going to end up releasing him as well. If they do, that's going to be a substantially big piece. I mean, Godzilla the 93 is probably going to be similar size to him. You figure Rodan might be a little shorter, but if they do Mechagodzilla, he's going to be like this tall. So it's going to take up a lot of space. And those 3, I don't know how you're going to position them because they look like they're going to have depth to them because technically Rodan's supposed to be in front of Godzilla in that one, not side by side, which him and King Ghidorah are supposed to be side by side. So I don't know how that's going to work, but with how this one is, am I going to get those? Yeah. I'll figure out where I'm going to stick them and how I'm going to maneuver, shoving space for those at that point. But I'm almost definitely going to get those because they're just this looks cool. I'm almost guaranteed Ghidorah's going to look cool. So I'm definitely buying all these. So with that, if you are thinking about this on the fence, whatever, my suggestion is get it. It's a really cool figure, really nicely done. Again, is it perfect? No, but I'm not expecting perfection, at the price point. But it's definitely good. And like I said, it's definitely better than the banks were. And I'm not knocking the banks. The banks were great substitutes for vinyls. And I think John Sinowski did a review of Rodan from the bank line, and he liked it a lot. Like he said, is it X Plus? No, but it's pretty darn good. So this is better than those. So with this being better than those, I definitely say get it. This is something really cool. So with that, again, I recommend getting this awesome figure. You can't go wrong with it, especially for the price point. So with that, this is my first review. I hope you all like it. I'm open to criticism. I know it's not perfect, so just be gentle with that. But with that said, hopefully I'll be doing more in the future. Also, hopefully I'll get some nice little scoops in a couple of weeks of the recording of this, because I will be at Toy Fair, and hopefully I will be talking to Diamond. I will be talking to Bandai. Hopefully, we'll get some information from them. Playmates, which that should be interesting. Seeing after what went on with the Hong Kong Toy Fair with them. So I'll be talking to a few of the different guys that are doing Godzilla figures and stuff. So hopefully I'll get some scoops on that. So hope you're looking forward to that, because I'm looking forward to it. First time at Toy Fair. So that'll be pretty cool. So with that, I want to thank you everybody again. hope you enjoy it, and thank you. And I'll be posting hopefully more videos, whether it be reviews or other stuff too. So look forward to it. Thank you.